Have you ever thought of buying a franchise or currently own one or many? If so, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Franchise Euphoria, the podcast created and hosted by franchise attorney Josh Brown for the sole purpose of helping people find success through franchising.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Franchise Euphoria, the podcast to help you find success in franchising. I am your host, Josh Brown, franchise attorney, entrepreneur, and general lover of all things small business. And super excited to be back for another Franchise Euphoria tip of the day. And today we're going to talk about the importance of maintaining a positive outlook in your business and some tips to do so. You know, there are a number of issues that arise when you buy a franchise or when you buy any business for that matter. When you become an owner of a business, you on a daily basis are going to deal with highs and lows. It's just a fact. There's really no way around it, and anybody who tells you otherwise is just simply lying to you. So the issue for a lot of people is, how do you maintain a positive outlook when things aren't going the way you anticipated, or when you put all your efforts into something and it doesn't appear as though it's working out? Well, there's a number of ways really to overcome these things. And so you kind of got to figure a little bit for yourself what works best. But for me, I feel like there's a few tips for maintaining a positive attitude or positive outlook for your business. The first one is you've got to surround yourself with experts and mentors. So you need to find yourself a good business coach, good accounting professional, attorney, insurance professional, banker, and really some mentors, some people that you feel very, very comfortable with, that you can be completely transparent with, that you can call up on a whim or email and converse with and know that they will get back to you and they have a vested interest in your success. I think this, perhaps more than anything else, is the most important thing for maintaining a positive attitude with your business. There are countless things, as I mentioned earlier, that come up in a business. And so being able to bounce it off of somebody else who has maybe gone through the same thing, who maybe has a different perspective on it, or at a bare minimum can sort of walk you through, ask a lot of questions, and serve as somebody to bounce things off of, is invaluable. I find that a lot of people, when they get to a point where things are very, very frustrating and it's tempting to quit, it's the people who hang on a little bit longer. It's the people who work through those issues that usually break through and find some success on the flip side. Now, that's not always the case, and it's a tough thing to do because when you're feeling as though things aren't going well, it's easy to ditch. It's easy to dive out of the game. But I think you have to really, at that point in time, talk to those mentors, talk to those experts, and work through those issues. I think a second thing that's very, very important is, you need to stay organized in your business, including organized with your time. I mean, organization and time management are critical to maintaining a positive outlook. I mean, without them, you'll sort of be leading a frazzled and frustrated existence, making it difficult to stay upbeat. Now, this is a real challenge. This is a real challenge for entrepreneurs. It's a real challenge now, I think, more than ever, because there's so many ways in which we can be distracted or become disorganized. I think it's in some ways easy to figure out a plan to stay organized, but then to follow through on it can be very, very challenging. But I think it's vital to ultimate success. And in some instance, I mean, you have to be able to put the blinders on. You know, you have to be able to just hone in, go after what you've set out to accomplish, and let the chips fall where they may after the fact. You can't let your attention drift. And I think that's all part of staying organized with your time, with your planning, and with your business. The third thing is, and this sort of ties into staying organized, that is you've got to prioritize. You've got to remember to give yourself a break for family, friends, and other activities. Your business should contribute to your life, but not be your life. I mean, you've got to really figure that out and keep your priorities in order, keep a healthy perspective, and then a positive attitude will be much easier to maintain. All this stuff sounds like common sense. It's really hard to do. I mean, I can speak for myself as I've been building up my law practice and building up my Franchise Euphoria podcast and business associated with that. Boy, is it hard to maintain a balance, because as business owners, I mean, you're passionate about what you do. I mean, I hope you are, or else you're in the wrong business. And you know, I find a lot of times where when I go home for the day, I'm really not shut off from my work. You know, I'll go home and have dinner with the family, and once my daughter goes to sleep, I'll hop right back on my computer and just start working away. And sometimes I'll just do it till 1, 2 in the morning, which on the one hand, it can be super productive. You know, I mean, I can get done with a lot of things, but on the other hand, there's just got to be the shut off valve. So I'm struggling with that in particular right now and trying to work through those issues. But I think doing so really goes a long way to maintaining a positive attitude and sort of approaching your business like you really should, in that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So while we need to be focused on goals and we need to have an idea of what we as small business owners want to achieve, we need to understand that we're sort of in this for the long haul. So everything does not have to be accomplished right now. You know, you've got to set, that's part of the planning process. That's part of prioritizing. It's part of being able to talk to other people who have been there and done that and find out how they have found success in their own right, how they have struggled and overcome these kind of difficulties. So today's tip is really all about what you need to do to maintain that positive outlook. I hope you have found this helpful, or at least insightful in some way to you. If it resonates with you at all, I'd love to hear about it. Go ahead and email me at josh@franchiseeuphoria.com. And if you have any other questions or anything like that, feel free to email me as well. And until the next time, happy franchising.
Thanks for being with us today on the Franchise Euphoria podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go to iTunes and provide a review. Also, please remember that although Josh Brown is a licensed and practicing attorney, nothing contained in this podcast should be construed as legal advice, because it is not. The information contained in this podcast is general and educational in nature, and none of it should be relied upon as legal advice. That being said, if you have questions for Josh and would like to contact him, please email him at josh@franchiseeuphoria.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you tune in to our next weekly episode.